Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Simply Sketchy. I'm your host, Trim, and today I have once again managed to go to America Land to acquire a American. Say hello, token American.
Hello. It's very early in the morning for me.
What are you talking about? It's the middle of the day for me.
Yeah, no.
Time zones, am I right?
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah,
But yeah, hello. Thanks for having me back.
it's my pleasure, dude. So, today we are going to continue from the last one we did, and that was, what was his name? Oloch, was it?
Oloch. It's Oloch the Glutton
Yes.
is the name of the thing that we did. So we did it originally. The last sketch was of the statue
Right?
where he was originally in his like inert form. Um, and now we're gonna do his activated like alive form with the tongue and the monstrous stuff coming after, and then I'm gonna tell the story of how that happens in the book and whatnot. So, but I have to say, so previously, right before we started recording, Trim and I were having a discussion about Star Wars as we often do. Um,
We came
and
to an interesting realization, actually.
we did. So we come to the conclusion that is in a like equivalent. I am the equivalent of like a really hardcore uh, Catholic Star Wars fan, right? Like
Yep.
if Star Wars was an era of Christianity, I would be the Catholic version of it.
Yep.
Um, and then
And
Trim is a Protestant of Star Wars because he's likes the Reformation and the heresy that came from the prequels.
yeah, keep saying that. Some
He
people would say it
tolerates
was an
the
improvement and a and
yeah
a better
yeah.
reading of it, but hey.
See now, and it's the exact same thing. You know, some people that's exactly right. Some
Exactly.
people think Protestantism is better, and some people think and I have to say, first off, I got to preface this by saying that I don't have a dog in this fight because I'm not Catholic or Christian or anything like that. But it's just a funny story. So anyhow, so
But
then
what
Trim
does
is
it?
the Protestant, like Trim's the Protestant Star Wars guy, and then the Disney people are like the new like Episcopalian, like gay, friggin'
Yeah,
lame,
actual heretics. Where
the
they're
the lame.
basically the ones that both of a Protestant and a Catholic don't agree much when it comes to theology, but they can actually get together
Yeah,
when talk about the other one. So at
I
least
think
there's
it
a
was. Oh,
uniting factor.
was it Presbyterian? I can't remember what the denomination of that naggy lesbian that yipped at Trump.
Let's see.
Um,
There is you can use like a denominator for them, but unfortunately, if we start using the words we actually should use for those
yeah,
people, we would have to either have Vesek
that.
censor it incredibly heavily, or
Yeah, she was
YouTube would.
just she just sounded like that nagging old lady. That's what I got. But anyhow,
Even worse.
so then that's when like Christianity has jumped the shark.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of gone off the rails. Like it was cool and you just took it too far.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it should have
And you
just
start
ended. It should
losing
have
most
ended with.
people.
Yeah, it should have ended at the prequels.
Yeah.
That's it. And of course, then
So
some dumbass came to
well,
ruin it
I
even further.
I, I have a separate opinion from that as well, but I will keep that. So, but anyhow, that was our pre-story about the the religious denominations of Star Wars.
Oh yeah, it's
So yeah,
it just means that in different ways both our points are valid, and
yeah,
it kind. But that's the best part, though. Me and him, we can have like what an hour-long discussion just
yeah,
on Star Wars, but in the end, be like, yeah, well, fair enough.
man. You know, and that makes me think of Dune. Like, how did Dune fans fit in there? Because I'm an OG Frank Herbert, and I've read the Brian Herbert Butlerian Jihad series enough to realize that I don't believe anything Brian Herbert has written should be considered canon even a little bit.
Yeah, I am.
It's so terrible.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I passed it. I passed that Dune story because of so many people that I genuinely care about, and their opinion matters to me. So, and they also have tastes similar to mine, and I'm like, yeah, you're gonna hate this.
The new movie,
No, the new movie they're good in their
or
own
or
way.
or the or the movie or the story itself.
Yeah, the story of the Butlerian jihad thing, and
Oh,
I'm gonna be honest,
yeah, it's terrible.
the movies we got recently,
Uh-huh.
I'd say if you like him, you probably will like him in the same way that David Lynch's movies were likable.
I loved the David Lynch one, but that's
Yeah.
just because I love the Harkonnens. I love the motif of it. But I really like David Lynch movies because he makes goofy, weird shit,
Oh yeah.
and I totally appreciate that.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, no, I won't go into. I was not. I don't know. I was really disappointed by the latest one,
Yeah.
especially the end. The ending of it was ridiculous. The notion that Chani would get upset at Paul for taking another wife in a culture that is entirely polyamorous
Yeah.
um,
Don't
is
remind
is
me.
fucking stupid.
Well, it's
Sorry,
the
I'm probably
actress
too
is
early.
yeah,
God damn, we're probably
but
too
the
early
the
for me
actress
to
is
drop the F
at
word,
fault
but
there, from what I can tell,
yeah.
because she only does the roles where you are a strong modern female character. I was like,
Well, she's the new um she's the new token.
yeah,
That's what she is. Like Idris Elba was. I mean, he's a fantastic actor, but he was used as a token for a really long time
yeah.
because they just jammed him in. Where it's like, hey, we're gonna take. We need this formerly white character made black. How are we gonna do that without pissing people off? Oh, we're gonna
Yeah.
use Idris Elba because he's sufficiently like inoffensive to white people.
Mhm.
And nobody would be like, oh well, he sucks. It's like, no, because he's a very distinguished English sounding gentleman,
Yeah,
right?
and
his
Idris Elba
he's
is also a decent actor. Don't die on me now. I need you
Yeah.
for the recording.
Yeah, he's a good actor, and that was part of it. It's not just that he was a good actor, but also that he's like a likable character,
Yeah.
like a likable person.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't he's very inoffensive, and if anybody comes out and says, well, I don't like him, then like you have to ask why. Like I like the guy. I think he's a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
And so like the only criticism I have of him is that he gets used by Hollywood to be their token black guy when they want to replace a white guy without pissing people off.
Yep.
Um
But at least he isn't pissing people off. That's the most important part.
no,
Whenever they
he's yeah.
do one of their bullcrap things, and I know we're tangenting, I know we're on a different thing, but I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
want to put this out is he doesn't join when Disney would do their retarded stunts, being like, "Oh, look how diverse we are," or "We're trying to
Right.
affect people's opinion." Like Idris, I don't think I've seen him do any of the cringe Avengers bullcrap that everyone else is doing.
Wow. And I 100% agree, and I believe it's because he's actually English,
Oh yeah.
or he tries to be English.
Yeah.
Like he tries to be a proper like Englishman, or at least, or he tries to act like one.
Yeah.
And so you can say what you want about it, but I think that's part. He's more, I would say, sophisticated culturally.
Yeah.
Um,
He's the one who just gonna say, "Tally ho, lads, I'm off."
yeah. But
But
he seems like a
yeah, we
badass
have
too.
current.
So
I need to rail this because we have now
yeah.
tangented far.
Yeah.
Oloch
Okay,
time. We have.
so we went back. So now I'm starting. So the frog's starting to take shape here. So yeah, Oloch the Glutton, as we said in the first episode, he was a little statue, and Seth fed him a dog biscuit, and that was the last drawing we did. The statue bit Seth's finger, bit down on his finger, left little teeth marks on his finger, and they didn't realize, and they find out later, oh, it was Oloch the Glutton. He's a demon that, once he gets fed, whoever he bites, he's going to chase them down and try to consume them.
Yep.
And so he's free, and I think last we left off, he was outside of the preserve. That's the last time I talked about him. He was outside of the preserve, hadn't made it inside.
Yeah.
And so
currently eating everything he could get his.
He's eating stuff outside. Live animals, whatever he can get his hands on. Trying to get big enough to breach the barrier, but he's going to have to get a lot bigger. It's going to take him a lot longer, and they don't actually think, the people in the book, they don't think that he actually has the ability to violate the bounds of the preserve on his own.
Mm.
And so, effectively, he's like, the threat is, at that point they look at it as like, well, that's a problem for later because he can't get to us now. He's just going to be stuck off the preserve.
Yeah, he kind of gets the point of the distant threat, the eventual threat, the one that keeps ticking down. It's like the clock, doomsday clock.
Yeah. And so through this, like, Oloch's outside, and the kids are learning from Tanu, Vanessa, and Coulter about different things. Vanessa, I said, was an animal handler. She handled rare animals. She had a bunch of creatures in her room that were called drummants, which they are described as like, they're like, let me see, a tarantula with a tail, and they're poisonous.
So like,
and they're kind of like it's like a spider with a long tail.
Oh.
And not like a stinging tail, but just like a long tail. And they bite. And they can warp light. So it's hard to catch them, because they'll do like they'll appear to be slightly to the left of where they are, stuff like that, because they can bend light. And Vanessa has a special thing that she uses to catch these.
Okay, so I'm sorry to interrupt here, but I hear, where would these things usually be? Because there's a few napalm. Yeah, there's a few napalm deliveries that need to be made out here.
It doesn't say where they're native to, but they're really, a lot of these magical creatures are just native to everywhere. Or not native. I mean, they're not native to everywhere, but they're everywhere. They just are hidden, right? Because they're magical creatures and things like this. So she was raising these, supposedly. She was raising these to have to not be venomous, right? And so at some point, these things, some of them get loose in the house, and they end up biting people in their sleep, or so they think.
Yeah.
And so that's something separate. So that's what's happening with Vanessa at the house while Oloch is out, outside of the bounds, right? So he's out of the picture right now. And then, and we talked about Tanu and emotions last time too, about the potion master and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Coulter, we didn't spend a lot of time talking about Coulter. He's pretty important on this one. Is that he's an artifact collector, and so he has access. I said he had the glove, and that made him invisible, helped him stay invisible. He had a few other things, and But one of the things that he had was a cocoon um, that he got. I can't remember exactly where it said he got it from, but it's a magical cocoon, and it's a little tiny, like silk cocoon. And the thing about it is if you get into an emergency or you get into too big of a problem or something like that, um, you can put the cocoon in your mouth and chew on it, and it will form a giant protective cocoon around you. That and the cocoon is supposed to be good for like, they say it's good for a few days. I think maybe a week or something like that. You can be in there, and you can eat the inside of the cocoon. And then it provides moisture and stuff. So basically, you can survive in this cocoon for like an emergency thing for a few days. And so that's one of the cool things that Coulter had, and he gave one to Seth. And then Coulter also explained to the kids how distractor spells work. So that wasn't explained very clearly in the first one, but he goes on and demonstrates to the kids how distractor spells work. He has a little, I think there's a little, he has a little bowl, and at the bottom of it's a golden ball, a bowl full of water, and at the bottom is a golden ball. And he kept asking Seth to grab the ball. And every time, Seth would go to do it, he would get distracted by something and forget what he was doing, forget he was supposed to get the ball, something like that. And I talked about that with the distractor spells on the gate and the preserve and all that stuff. And this is where it's revealed that Kendra is not affected by distractor spells, because Coulter tells Kendra, it's like, hey, grab the ball, and she's like, okay, and she just does it and doesn't have any problem with it at all. And so that's when they discovered that distractor spells don't work on Kendra.
Yeah, sort of like Fey glamour, right?
Yeah. Which would make sense, right?
Yep.
Because if she can see through the glamour of the Fae normally, then that same kind of, like, you got to think distractor spells would work on a similar methodology.
It makes sense to me. It's all like illusions and distractions, and if you're able to Fey would be more potent, kind of like how if you're able to handle hard liquor, you'll be able to handle beer.
Yep. And so one of the things so they go out on different, Coulter takes Seth out to do different things, but one of the things Coulter won't do is he wouldn't take Kendra with him because he didn't want to put her in danger, because he was an old guy and he called it a sense of chivalry to keep her back, which is totally reasonable. So anyhow, everybody's going about their business. Seth he's out in the woods with Newell and Doran trying to make a deal about something. I think this might be the time. There's a part where they steal some stew out of. So he finds Newell and Doran out in the woods, and they're at like a well, what looks like a well, right? It's got like there's a big well-looking thing with the scaffolding and a bucket on it, and Newell and Doran are wheeling a bucket down into the well.
Newell and Doran were the satyrs, right?
They're the satyrs. They're the satyrs, yeah, that we talked about in the very first episode. And so he's hanging out with so they wheel up this bucket from the well, and it's full of fucking stew. And Seth is like, what the hell's going on? And they find out, well, it's the satyrs. There's an ogress that lives under that hill, and she's cooking stew, and that's her chimney. And the satyrs have set up a fucking bucket to steal her stew.
Well, so I guess you could say it stews well.
Yeah. And so while they're out doing this, all of a sudden, Oloch shows up on the property.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and and he's not, he's big, but Seth's able to escape him and makes his way back to the house, and they go and someone had let him in.
Yeah.
I
So
thought
basically,
that,
this is the first real oh shit moment in this event.
Yeah.
Of Olog's story.
And this is, well, honestly, I think the first oh shit moment would be him showing up outside the preserve.
Right.
They saw him outside the preserve. And if I was Seth, knowing that this is a big giant monster that's just coming to eat me, like it's not going to stop until it eats me, that would be my first, like, oh shit moment. Okay. But then knowing that you're safe inside the preserve would be reassuring. And then all of a sudden,
there he is.
There he is inside the preserve. And it turns out that someone had actually let him in.
Oh.
He got someone wrote his name in the preserve, and they go and check the register, and someone has written his name and another person's name in the register, and they don't know who it was, because only Stan and Ruth know where the register is kept.
Right.
So now they have a traitor. So anyhow, yeah, so now he's inside the preserve. They find out there's a traitor inside the preserve. And now it's, well, who's the traitor? And I think the initial, I don't think they didn't know who it could be, possibly. And the name of the person who was written in there was not familiar to anybody.
Right. But who's the initial suspect, would you say?
I think Coulter was actually the initial suspect.
Oh.
But they're not sure. So anyhow, so now Oloch's inside the preserve, and they're going to, but he can't come. He still can't come into the yard. So they've told Seth, stay out of the yard, or stay in the yard. Don't leave the yard, because there's protections on the yard and the house. And they removed his name from the register, but that doesn't just magically kick him out of the preserve. It just means he can't come back.
If Oloch leaves, he can't get back in.
He can't get back in, yeah. But once they're in, they're in. So now there's an actual danger. He's actually on the property. He's there to get Seth. Which is like, this poor Seth.
He gets shafted. First one, yeah, he always gets shafted so far, doesn't he?
He does, and so in the first one, when he got screwed over, it was really his own fault. Yeah. But in a sense, he was just being curious, and you can't necessarily blame him for being a bit curious about, I like that, a bit curious about the magic and stuff around him. Yep. Right? And how many kids haven't caught butterflies or tried to keep bugs in jars, like we all do. And that was really, it was his curiosity was really his downfall. Yeah. Because if he hadn't have fucked with the fairy, then they never would have had to use Muriel's knot to save him.
Yep.
So yeah, he messed that up, but it was an innocent mistake.
Yeah.
and
he
very
was
much
just a
like
kid.
this, yeah, and very much like this is an innocent mistake. Um, he had the best of intentions, right? Because they were trying to do something about the hobgoblin.
Yep.
They were worried about what it was going to do, which is understandable. All of a sudden, this like supernatural creature shows up at your school and is playing all 21 Jump Street on you. Like, no, fellow kids, I'm not chilling with you. Um, so anyhow, crap, I forgot where I was at. Anyhow, so yeah, Seth was trying to be, so he had the best of intentions to, and then it just was like, all right, well, suck it up, buddy. You got screwed. You know?
I mean,
And it's,
you could kind of blame him for the first one, but again, it's just what
yeah,
it's a mistake that kids do. It was a
yeah, it's an entirely innocent mistake,
yeah. Well,
you
in the
know?
second one, he was just generally tricked into it. They just abused
Yeah,
his more kind-hearted side.
yeah, that's exactly what it was. So, so but they took advantage of him.
Yep.
Um, but that's because, you know, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah.
You can have the best of intentions. But again, he didn't know. And so, and how shitty would it be? You're like a 10, 11-year-old kid, and now you know, like you've actually seen there's a giant frog monster that is actively trying to eat you.
Yes.
And only you, but anybody that gets in your way. He only wants to eat you, but he'll eat anybody that gets in his way.
Yeah.
Like that's
That'll suck because
yeah.
if Seth is the kind of character I think he is, he would just start blaming himself over that too.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, he is. He's very like he's very distraught over it. I'm trying to think of the right word for it. I want to say crestfallen, but it's not. That's not it. He is like understand like, oh God, why me? This sucks.
Yeah.
You know? And he understands too. It's like I was just trying to help. He understands the unfairness inherent in the situation because it's
Yep.
an unfair situation. Um,
It's freaking bullshit.
yeah. And so at some point, uh, so he's stuck out. Um, and then it becomes, oh, excuse me, big stretch. Well, then it turns out that the uh, the trader inside the preserve was the one who let them in, and it starts becoming a little murkier who the trader is. Um, and everybody's getting, and while this is going on, everybody's getting bit by these little fucking the drummants
Yeah.
is what they're called.
But are they
Um,
like really venomous or are they reduced in poison?
they're not supposed to be venomous, but it's annoying,
Oh.
right? So everybody has these little bites on them. Um, and well, it turns out that those are they weren't from the drummets, and that the drummet thing was a story. It turns out that Vanessa is actually a narcoleptic, which means she controls people in their sleep. And so Vanessa has bitten everybody, and she used the drummets as the cover story for the bites, because everybody has these little bites. Well, it turns out she bites people in their sleep, and that's how she controls them. Um, and it works on everybody, but it doesn't work on Kendra because mind control doesn't work on Kendra.
No, because she's again very kind, not just very
Yeah,
touched, but she's actually part of the
yeah,
Fae race at this point.
yep. And so Vanessa, uses so she uses everybody to kind of subvert the stuff, and then she frees a bunch of imps from the prison. The prison down below. We talked about the dungeon under the preserve.
Yeah.
She freed a bunch of imps to get help from there.
Oh,
And
weren't all the imps cured after Taggart was defeated?
no, not all of them, because they still had some imprisoned. The
Oh.
ones that were not, because the ones that were imprisoned were not.
Oh, okay.
Because of course they were imprisoned.
Sure, sure.
So, and this part comes this part where Vanessa turns out to be the traitor, is like it's a hard thing for Kendra, because Kendra has started forming a relationship with Vanessa, in that Vanessa's really cool and she's done a lot of cool shit. Like, she explored the Amazon, and I think that's where she got those drum ints from. She said she's been an explorer, and her and Kendra bond over. They take I can't remember what kind of wax it is. There's wax from a specific type of fairy. They build a hive and they take the wax, and you can use the wax to you make a candle and a pencil, and you write with the pencil, and you can't see the ink until the candle is lit. So it's like invisible ink, and once you light the candle, then the ink shows up on the paper. And so Vanessa and Kendra share their pen pals. They write back and forth, and like sharing secret darts, all the stuff like this. And they get kind of close.
But is it like a lie from Vanessa's side?
It is. It's Vanessa's. So it turns out Vanessa is with the society, and she's trying to help them, and so that's what this whole thing is. And the reason why she's doing that is because there's an artifact on the preserve that is called the Sands of Sanctity, I think is what it is.
Right.
So it's one of the artifacts that's needed to open the demon prison, one of the keys to the demon prison.
Okay.
So and it's in this place called the Inverted Tower, and there's a lot to that, and we'll cover more on that. We'll cover more on that when we get to it. So in the interim, once they find out that Vanessa's the bad guy, basically, and she's taken over, she started to take over the house. She's letting people out of the dungeon. The kids flee, and with Hugo, they take Hugo and run away.
Mm-hmm.
And I could be misremembering this part. I need to just reread these again. But the kids flee, and at some point they encounter just Seth on his own, with Hugo, encounters Oloch. And Hugo tries to fight Oloch, but Oloch's big, and at this point he's pretty powerful because he's eaten a lot of stuff. Game, magical creatures, whatever he can get. And so he kind of starts taking Hugo apart. And he gets Seth, and Seth remembers he has the cocoon. And so Seth eats the cocoon.
Right.
Or he chews on the cocoon, and it encases it, it grabs him. And so, and then he feels himself being eaten.
Ew.
So Oloch eats the cocoon. And then it's like a waiting game. You know, just kind of wait inside there. He doesn't know what's going on because he can't see. He's stuck in a cocoon. And he doesn't want to open it because he's still he's still inside the thing. He could still be inside the thing. You know, I mean, what's you're gonna open the cocoon and just die in the stomach anyways? And so,
Yeah, this way he at least buys himself a few more days.
yeah. Um,
That kind of puts
it's
all the
just
pressure on Kendra then, because Seth can't really do much now.
yeah. So Seth's kind of stuck. Um, he's stuck for a few days in there, and then all of a sudden he feels movement, and this thing gets jostled around, um, and then he starts seeing like light coming through the cocoon.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that Oloch ate the guy he meant to eat.
Yeah.
He didn't digest him, but he ate him. So he satisfied that terms of his thing. And after that, he started reverting back to the statue. And so he just pooped Seth out.
Really?
He just pooped out the cocoon, yeah. And so Seth survived through the digestive tract in the cocoon. And it's a pixie cocoon. I don't know. I don't remember if I said that before. It's a magical pixie cocoon, and yeah, so Seth survived that with the cocoon that Coulter gave him.
Well, that's a good way to just yeah, because yeah. Curses of this nature tends to be very literal.
Yeah.
Like how many demons or malicious creatures in contracts, they can screw you over, like the monkey's paw effect, but you can as easily screw them over too if you're able to actually satisfy the letter of the contract. And well, he was to be eaten, didn't specify if he had to die.
Yep. Yeah, he didn't have to. Yeah, it doesn't say you have to absorb his flesh into yours. It's like, hey, he just has to eat you. Well, he did. And so, which I thought was really funny and clever.
Yeah.
Like, I thought, because it's really presented as an inevitability in the book. Like, there's no way that you're getting away. He's gonna get you.
Yeah, and
it's just a matter of time.
Oloch did.
And he did. Yeah.
But he
did.
But in a way that didn't kill him,
Right. And so so Seth so Seth is now, he's safe from Oloch, and Oloch has turned back into the statue.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
In that case, if you have a monster that is hell-bent on killing you, or that you die, then technically just stopping your heart should be enough. And
yeah, just go into just have your heart stopped in a hospital for like a couple of minutes, long enough to avoid brain death, but long enough to satisfy the terms of like, oh, he actually died.
Yeah. Or if it's a creature after your heart, you just have to surgically remove your heart and replace it with another.
Yep.
I mean, you can get really fucking clever with these kind of things. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
So now he's passed through the digestive system of a giant frog, and I guess pretty much half of Tumblr would be very interested in that.
Yeah, no shit. They're gonna look up the fan art of that. I'm sure there's gonna be some weird stuff.
Not looking up that shit, dude. That's for other kind of people to look at.
Yeah, no, give that a hard pass. But yeah, so Seth gets out of Oloch and goes back to the house, and he finds out that the other person that that Vanessa had let in was actually Errol. It was the guy that had them steal the guy that had them steal and wake up Oloch in the first place.
Yeah, the douchebag who said, "Oh, we're gonna infiltrate a vampire's home," and oh no, now you're being targeted. Whoopsie daisy.
Yep. So it turns out that Errol and Vanessa were in on it the whole time. They were in on it together the whole time.
Yeah.
And they were playing them. And the reason why they were doing it was to get this artifact off of the preserve.
Yeah.
Um, so let me see. I'm trying to think what to talk about or where to go from here on the story.
That's right.
Um,
Usually, like the question of who is the traitor tends to be very much a popular follow-up from for books I've
yeah,
noticed. Like even
yeah,
in Harry Potter, you still had like a similar kind of mystery with
yeah,
Slytherin until you found out who really was the perpetrator.
yeah. Well, and they, Vanessa gets caught, and part of the reason, so Vanessa uses a blowgun. That's one of her weapons is a blowgun,
Hmm.
and she uses, to hunt. She uses it to hunt magical creatures out in the wild, so she says, but really she uses it to fucking
Yeah.
stun people so that she can bite them in their sleep. Um, and Seth pricks Vanessa with one of her own darts and knocks her out. Um, and then they found. So there was a key that they needed to get into the secret place where the artifact was hidden.
Right.
And the kids wanted to get the artifact to make sure that the society didn't. Um,
Keep it away from the hands of evil, literal
yeah,
demon worshippers.
yeah. And so they go to, and the whole reason why Vanessa and Errol take over the house and everything is because Stan and Ruth had the key to the place and it just ends up being like this weird rod, this long golden rod. Um, that's the key to get into the inverted temple, which is where the artifact is. So, dang it, my brain just like,
Happens a lot.
my brain just dropped.
Again, happens a
Okay.
lot to me as well.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, and this is where they find out actually that the vault is hidden in a place called the Revenant's Grove. Well, I don't think it's called the Revenant's. They don't call it the Revenant's Grove, but it's a hidden place, and they know there's an evil presence there, and nobody can go there because of it. And so, but they have to go there to. Okay, I'm gonna look this up right now.
That's right.
The tower's in the Revenant's Grove, and they have to go there to save it. And so, in order to get in, they have to get past a Revenant, which is an evil. It's an evil undead creature, and that has a nail stuck in its neck.
Oh.
Yeah, it has a nail stuck in its neck. It's like a zombie, but they have like this unnatural fear that surrounds them.
Right.
And so they have to get past the Revenant, but it's just paralyzing fear. And so every time they get close to it, they can't do anything. So Seth goes there with Coulter, and Coulter is paralyzed. He's frozen with fear, and he turns white, similar to Warren. And so that it turns out that Warren actually is a victim of the Revenant. Warren was trying to retrieve the artifact for the Knights of the Dawn, and so he went to go to the place, and he encountered the Revenant, and the Revenant kept it did that to him because that's what they do. It affected him with such an unnatural fear that it made him catatonic and bleached his hair and all that stuff. And so, but Seth knows that he has to get past it. And Seth's already very brave, and so
I mean, he was willing to go to a possible vampire's house. So I get that.
Oh, okay. I messed up the story. Okay. So here, so they knew they had to go here. And he went here with Coulter, and the Revenant came, and it paralyzed Coulter with fear. And so Coulter forced the cocoon into Seth's mouth, and that's when Oloch ate Seth.
Right.
Okay. Now I remember. Okay. Anyhow, so once Seth's out of the cocoon, he still has to get past the Revenant. And so he has Tanu's potions, and so he takes a bunch of courage potions. He like overdoses on courage potions to try to confront this Revenant. And so he takes a bunch of courage potions, he gets super cocky, and he has a pair of pliers, and he knows he just needs to pull the nail out of the Revenant's neck to stop it. But it's exuding such a horrible supernatural fear that he's even struggling doing it, even though he's like all super jacked up on courage potions. But he eventually does it. The Revenant, it's great how it's described in the book, and I'm not going to ruin that too much. But he talks about the cold hands of the Revenant wrapping around his throat, trying to choke him. And then Seth gets the nail out of the Revenant's neck, is a pair of pliers, and he finally gets it out of the Revenant's neck. And of course it disappears. And the nail is like sinks into the ground. And they kind of forget about it. They leave it there.
Yeah, just leave the supernatural nail on the floor. Sure, we got bigger fish to fry.
They just dropped it. Well, it was in the dirt. But so that actually leads to something interesting later on. And Seth's encounter with the Revenant, and because it's the nail's a very powerful artifact, and his encounter with it leaves him touched, similarly to how Kendra was touched, except for Seth is touched by darkness instead of light.
Yeah, overexposure, because he managed to resist the Revenant for long enough, but again, an overexposure to something more than regular mortals without dying or going catatonic.
And they don't explain it in this book, but in later books they explain exactly what it happens to him.
Yeah, so that would do well if he. Again, it depends on how it affects him, but that could really make him handy dealing with things that are dark.
Yeah, and so eventually they come to realize, or they let it be. They explain that he's a shadow charmer. That makes him a kind of a quote unquote shadow charmer. He later becomes inducted as a full shadow charmer by an actual demon in the next book.
Story for later.
We'll talk about that when we get to it. Yeah. So once they've the Revenant's dealt with. Once the Revenant's dead, then Warren snaps out of his thing. And so now Warren was like, Vanessa never bothered to deal Vanessa never bothered with Warren because he was catatonic. There was no reason to bite him, to try to control him or anything like that. Now, once you're bitten by a Narcoblix, there's nothing you can do. They can control you forever. There's no way for them to undo their ability to control you at that point on. You're marked forever.
You need to kill the Narcoblix in order to avoid
that. Like the best you're hoping for is them to give you their word that they're not going to do it. but it's that ends up not being true. They end up fixing that. So anyhow, they have they've defeated the Revenant, and then they went back and they got Warren, and then that's when they knocked Vanessa and Errol out with Vanessa's poison, and took the key and went off to the inverted tower to try to retrieve the artifact there, which is called the Sands of Sanctity.
All right.
So
the Sands of Sanctity, you said?
Yeah, the Sands of Sanctity. It's one of the 7. So the Sands of Sanctity is a little tea kettle that when they pour it, the sand pours out and it heals whatever it touches.
Oh, I thought it was more like a time. Fuck, what do you call it? A sand?
Yeah, yes. So there's another artifact that comes out later, actually. And I forgot about this earlier. It comes out later. There's another artifact on the preserve, and that doesn't come out until like the third or the fourth book. But there is indeed another artifact on the preserve, and that artifact is the one that controls time. Oh. That one's called the chronometer. So I forgot, that one's later. This is the first. The first one was the Sands of Sanctity. The story's coming back to me again.
Hell yeah. Okay, I gotta point out, doing all these tongue things, that takes time.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's lines, dude. All right, keep going.
But so I think because I can talk more about more of the story. It'll start cutting into content for future episodes.
I think
so we'll do a brief overview and say.
Well, we can stick around the more of Oloch's lore. Is there thing that like, do we get to know more about Oloch's creation or his purpose or something like that? Maybe stick to that.
No. No, that's not really expounded upon. It would be interesting if it was, because a lot of the demons are just. They don't. So there are. It's not like somebody usually becomes a demon. Usually demons are born demons. Except for some very powerful wizards who became demons. There's, I don't know. I can't speak specifically on all of the demon stuff.
Well, you can also add a little bit of your own thoughts and opinions too.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think where to go. Because the demons come in a lot of different shapes in the Fablehaven universe.
Yeah.
And some of them are sentient, some of them aren't. And Oloch is not necessarily sentient. Now, they refer to him as a demon, but he's not, like I said, he's not smart, he's not sentient. I don't know if demon is necessarily the right classification in that regard. Right, like, because demon... and I'm speaking in a broad, speaking outside of the Fablehaven, just in a broader universe sense, right? Or a broader linguistic sense. Like, to me, it kind of feels like there is a distinction between a demon and a monster.
Yeah, and
right?
Oloch is more like a weapon or a tool.
Yeah, he's more like, because for some reason to me, demons seem like they have a bit of sentience to them. And they have a bit of cunning and purpose, where just like a monster, it's just a beast. Yeah, like Oloch is just a beast.
Yeah, Oloch seems to be very instinctual and driven by a single purpose, while demons, while they are controlled by their natures, going back to the discussion of free will.
Yeah.
The demons are heavily affected by their natures, but they're able to act within those bounds.
Yeah, exactly. There. So I guess maybe that's probably the auspices under which he's classified as a demon, is because he's a very powerful entity um, of a dark nature.
Yes.
And like dragons don't have a dark nature. Um, fairies, other things, they don't have a dark nature. Um, but that just might be the dark nature thing of it. I don't know. Trying to think what.
A lot of hmms indeed.
Well, I'm trying to think of a monster. Like, I don't know.
Like, yeah.
It's.
You could classify Hugo. He's a golem, right? And if he were made.
Yeah,
and
Hugo's
put
a true
into-
golem now.
Yeah, if he goes by a darker nature, then he could be classified as a monster.
Yeah. Yeah. So, at one point in the story, and this is when the kids when Vanessa picks up the kids, they are attacked by a Dullion, which looks
Dullion?
like just a Dullion, Dullion,
Okay.
and they're like, and explained to the kids that it's like a golem, but it was a giant. Seth only saw a giant pile of hay, but because he didn't have the milk. But Kendra saw that it was like this giant hay golem, this giant grass golem, attacked their car while they were driving.
Right.
But Vanessa, but it's not. It's like Mendigo, though, because it didn't have, wasn't necessarily evil just because it wasn't smart enough to know any better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
I guess Oloch would be more akin to Mendigo or early Hugo.
Yeah, it's just mindless.
Yeah.
But he does want to eat a person. Oloch does.
Yeah,
So,
it's more like, again, it's a targeted instinct with a.
It's more, it's animalistic.
Yeah.
It
he
is more
doesn't have
animalistic.
any real intellect, no true cunning aside from like predatory animal cunning.
Yeah. So, and I thought it was a good in the story. I thought it was a good example of the demonstrating kind of impending doom. Like an inevitable doom.
Like
And
the ticking clock, basically, of a bomb.
the ticking clock. Yeah, he does a good job. He does a good job with the ticking clock in these books, I think. And like, what a horrifying ticking clock this would be.
Yeah. Every time
Like-
you see it, it gets bigger. It eats
Yeah.
everything around you, and you know that if it passes someone innocent, they're screwed.
Yeah, and excuse me, and to know the inherent unfairness of the whole damn thing.
Yep.
You know what it is? It's like a guy. That story, okay, and this is a story that's been floating around recently. I don't know how much veracity there is to it, how true it is. A story about a guy who gave a woman, so there was a woman choking at his office.
Yeah.
They were in their lunch, the cafeteria, and this woman started choking. And this guy gave her the Heimlich maneuver and saved her life.
Right, this one.
And then
right?
she reported him to HR for sexual harassment because she felt like he touched her inappropriately. And it's like,
Ooh.
wait, what? What?
This is why you never
It
save a
just
fucking Karen.
Saved your life. And so that is, you know what? That's how Seth must have felt about Oloch.
Yeah.
Was like, I was just trying to help. This is so unfair. Like, this is nothing about. This was just trying to help. This is such bullshit.
Yes.
I can't. Like, how remarkably and terribly shitty and unfair that would be. And especially because, and that's the other thing too, is that motherfucker knew that was going to happen when he gave him the dog biscuit.
Yep.
like, so it highlights the kind of insidious and evil nature of the Evening Star people, right?
Yep.
Like, and the fact that like Vanessa does a lot to ingratiate herself to, like, she becomes more, well, through her actions with the kids, she makes, and with everybody else, she makes herself less suspect because she becomes so trustworthy and likable.
Yep. The
And so
worst
the
kind of
inevitable
traitor.
heel turn, yeah, exactly. And so the inevitable heel turn just stings that much more, you know. It was like when it's like when Hulk Hogan attacked Randy Macho Man Savage. That heel turn, and you're like, oh, what the hell? Like, oh, that's such bullshit. Why would you do that? You were so cool, you
Yeah.
asshole. Damn it.
Or whenever Sweden
uh,
backstabs Norway in any kind of competition.
yeah. It's like, you were so cool. I liked you. Why did you
Yeah.
have to do that?
We had a gentleman's agreement, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. Of course, I've got a pretty strong feeling that I'm gonna feel like that a lot about, and like there's gonna be some things happen in politics that are gonna make me feel like that. Come on, I liked you. Stop doing this.
Yeah.
Of course, it already has with some people.
I mean, let's be honest. For the a little mention of politics, which we try to avoid in general, when dealing with politics, never expect anything but utter disappointment.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I'll deal with in terms of politics, because I hate politics. I hate
Yep,
politics.
that's all that needs to be said. It's just the expect disappointment.
Yeah.
Like, don't get your hopes up because they're gonna disappoint you. But this is a little different than that, because you really like Vanessa.
Yep.
And she seemed like a very trustworthy ally and a dangerous enemy.
Yes.
And so, yeah, the heel turn was especially painful, I think, for her.
Yeah. That'll
But then
make some trust
also,
issues later.
yeah, for sure. But then also part of that too is that she didn't necessarily seem evil.
No.
And she does have redemption later.
Oh. Like in the book or
Later
in the
on in the
series?
story.
Okay.
In the series, later on in the series, she gets redemption. No, she ends this book in the dungeon.
Oh.
She ends this book in the Dungeon of the Preserve. So after it's all said and done, they have a thing in the dungeon called the Quiet Box, and it is a box that only one person can be in at a time. It looks like a coffin on the wall, and once one person steps into it, then it rotates, and it rotates around and puts them to the back, and then who's ever in the back comes to the front, and they can get out. And it's a magical thing, and so it holds people in like suspended animation, so they don't age or anything in there. Kind of just like, saying, almost puts them into a coma.
Are they awake,
while they're
or are
in the
they
quiet
just
box.
or asleep?
Kind of floating consciousness is really what it is. Like, you're not really sleeping, not really awake.
Ooh, that's gotta suck.
But so that's where Vanessa ends the book, is in there. After I won't go into the details of how they retrieve the artifact, because I want to save that for later, because there's some really cool there'll be some good opportunity for drawings on that stuff.
Yeah.
But they retrieve the artifact, and the artifact can be used to cure, because it cures everything.
Yeah.
It's
just,
a
again,
magical panacea,
Yeah.
and so it can cure the narcoleptic's bites. And so they use that to cure Vanessa's bites. And at the end of the book, yeah, they take. So the Sphinx takes possession of the artifact because the Sphinx is the head of the Knights of the Dawn. So he takes possession of the artifact to hold on to it. So we already know that he has the chalice, the horn, or the font of immortality. So now he has the font of immortality and the sands of sanctity. And
Hopefully he's not,
that they know
not
of.
a future traitor.
So he's got two. So they've got two. So as far as the society is concerned, is that the Knights of the Dawn have secured two artifacts, and it's unsure whether the society has any.
Yeah.
So they take and put Vanessa in the quiet box because they can't be 100% sure that she won't use her powers on somebody else, because she could use her powers on anybody to try to infiltrate the preserve again.
Yeah. She's basically a bureaucrat. A lot of honeyed bullcrap words.
Kind of. Well, she has a permanent in. She's like that IT contractor with the permanent security clearance. You know, that you can't figure out how to get him out. So they lock her in the quiet box, and they take the person out of the quiet box. The Sphinx does, and he says we're going to move him somewhere else, and it's never revealed who that guy is.
Okay.
Well, it's not revealed in this story who that guy is. It's revealed in later stories. It's revealed in the next book who this guy is.
Okay.
But you don't know for now. You just know Vanessa's in the box, and the Knights of the Dawn have the artifact, and they've taken that other prisoner, and all's right in the world.
Yeah. What happened to the other guy? What happened to the other douchebag? The one who.
So Errol.
Wait. Does he have? Would he be a drawable character? Because then we might have
Errol?
to save him. Yeah.
Oh, maybe. I don't know if he's worth it though. Worth the time to draw.
Well,
He's just kind of a goofy, he's kind of a goofy guy. And he dies. He dies in the process of them getting the artifact. In the process of them getting the artifact, he dies, and Vanessa becomes very hurt. So once Warren is free of the Revenant's curse, per se, then he's able to help. So Warren was an adventurer. He's a member of the Knights of the Dawn. He's a guy that goes and helps to retrieve artifacts and stuff like that. He's very skilled, and so he helps the kids. They take the key, and then they go retrieve the artifact. It's Warren helping them now.
Yeah.
And Warren ends up being a really great character too. So, that's it. Looks good. Once the shading on that tongue is done, that's gonna look rad as hell.
A lot of work on this one.
Yeah.
The wiggles and the squiggles.
Yeah, that's the.
Yeah. We kind of
That's
spent
the unfortunate part.
the better part of 20 minutes to decide which way to go, because the book itself,
Right?
it has a certain look. But then, how did you describe him again? Just read the description.
Well, the description they give him in the wiki and in the book is that he's just a giant toad-like creature with an appendaged tongue.
Yeah. Which then kind of removed the whole multi-tentacle tongues.
Yeah.
It made it sound like a singular. So I kind of first went with this, but with sort of a finger, sort of like fingers at the tip. But it didn't quite mesh over well with Dave, and he had a point. So we decided to go with more tentacular things.
Yeah.
And honestly, the result is looking pretty decent in my opinion.
Yeah, it looks good. The only bad part is having to fucking shade it all.
First shading, then lighting, and I'm already tired in my shoulder from yesterday's workouts. So that's fun.
Awesome.
You know that itch you have when you know that itchy feeling you got whenever you tried to color the corners of a piece of paper as a kid, and you kept screwing over the edges of paper? That's me right now. Just need to focus on this crap.
Yeah,
No, though this is a lot of fun. It's just tedious. It's
yeah.
fun, but fucking tedious.
Oh,
It's I like
that's
seeing it come together though, and this has
yeah,
honestly been a very interesting character,
yeah.
monster thing.
No, this has been a really. It's been it's been interesting exploring that,
Oh yeah.
and also and I I appreciate you taking the time to do this with me, because as you know, I'll share with the people. I've had some just annoying shit happening in my real life. And say annoying, it's not even the right word. So one of my cats went missing about a month ago, and we just found him. But is because he fell through the ice in the pond
Yeah.
at my apartments, and
Again, dude, sorry for your loss.
yeah. Um, so there's been a lot of weird shit happening this year. It's just been it's
Yeah,
been not awesome for my family and myself.
it's been off to one hell of a start. Let's put it like that.
Yeah. But one thing that I do, or that I have, despite all the annoying and awful and just heartbreaking shit that's happened to me, is that I have always had an amazing group of friends supporting me. Always had an amazing community of people reaching out and saying, "Hey, we're sorry for your loss. We're praying for you. We'll, and I'm very fortunate for that. And so, as much as I lament the hardness or the loss, I also have to um, admit that I'm fortunate to have what I do have, and I'm fortunate to have the friends I do have, and the people in my life that I do have. So I don't know what I did to deserve it, but I got some. I've ended up with some pretty great people surrounding me to help me through these trying times, and I'm very grateful for it. So, yeah, thank you for bringing me on and let me talk about something other than the the various maladies of my own life or politics. So,
I appreciate it likewise, dude. Again, the pleasure is mine as well. So I'm having a good time. I get to draw. I get to try new things. Also need to.
yeah.
I've been sure I never managed to keep under the 1 hour mark, but it's I've developed quite a lot in my opinion. I've learned
Yeah,
some
oh,
new
no.
tricks.
No, for sure. I think there is a definite there's a definite progression.
Oh yeah.
In your and not to say through the Simply Sketchies, but through your just through your art checks, like watching your old
Yeah.
live drawing and stuff like that. Like, it's practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
And,
If people want to get an example, if Besic wouldn't mind, he could probably post a link or show like 2 separate time lapses. One is recent and one that's one of the older ones. I'm pretty sure there's a market difference. I
pull
hope
up
it's
one of the old shorts. Yeah.
Yeah. Played side by side. Oh,
yeah, and I think that this series that you're doing with the interviews and all that stuff with people is really cool.
Yeah, I have a lot of good conversations, like you, Bleach, yes, Christopher Everard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I even get to meet some new people like Raida and Patho too, and I'm hoping to get more people on as well. It would be fun.
Yeah, you've had some really interesting people on, for sure. I always love listening to Bleach talk.
Yeah.
So that he's got some really great stories.
He does. Oh, I'm not gonna knock your stuff either, because you kind of get me this whole saga here, and it's really interesting. I probably don't have the time to go through it myself. So much shit to do.
Yeah.
But I enjoy. I've always enjoyed listening to people talk about things they're interested in, about
Yeah.
passions, and it's kind of I'm the kind of guy that if I meet someone and I sit and have a coffee with them, I'll let them just speak for hours about things they're interested in.
Yeah.
Because I like it. It is
Yeah.
it's actually how I got into Stargate.
Just hearing people's stories. Yeah.
Oh yeah, my best friend is just a big Stargate fan. We just ended up chatting a little bit about it. He introduced me to it, and boom, there you go.
Yeah.
And now it's one of my favorite sci-fis of all time.
And like, you know, that's Stargate's great. So yeah.
At least Atlantis and
I haven't
SG-1.
watched. See, I haven't watched that stuff in so long. I really enjoyed it though, and I think the storylines are really cool on it too.
Yeah, though they really love the P90. At a certain point, they really started getting into the P90.
I know. I know. I think that was a phase in Hollywood where everybody had P90s.
Yes. And it's just really fucking powerful. I mean, what kind of ammunition do they load in those things? Like, they shoot in Atlantis. They shoot a wraith with it, and the fucker just flies across the.
Yeah, it's that weird style. It kind of is a futuristic looking weapon.
It is
in a way, right?
I mean,
just because of the way it's.
You even
a big
have.
block of metal.
I remember in the '90s there was this band. Really. If it's sort of like the music you hear playing in like parties with a bunch of young adults. I think it's Aqua or something. Really popular in Norway.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who Aqua is. Yeah.
Yep. And one of their covers had her holding a P90, weirdly made P90 with lasers and shit coming out of it.
Yeah, they just yeah, it's just a Hollywood thing. They get a hold of it and they're like, "Oh, that looks cool," and then everybody's like, "Oh shit, I saw that in that movie. Oh, that they're using that gun in that movie. Oh, that's super cool looking." Kind of stuff like that. But
yeah. Though for people who don't like bullpups or other, it has a weird mechanism which some of my gun puritan friends that aren't really familiar about.
Yeah.
To mention, you know how you mentioned Bleach? He is not a fan of that. Well, how'd it go? Well, it looks like gonna jam all the time. My worst impression of Bleach ever.
Your Bleach impression, that's great.
I can't do one. The guy got this fucking
hey, it was
smug
it was spot
swagger.
On. It was spot on. You got it.
Now I can start doing Bleach impersonations. What's the phone number to the IRS? Oh boy.
Yeah, so
if he sees this, it's probably gonna give me shit for later.
Oh yeah.
Or knowing best, like he'll rat me out.
he'll make oh yeah. He's gonna knock your ass out on Saturday.
Oh, he is. Or I don't know if Bleach is gonna be there on Saturday, but definitely as soon as Bezic starts editing this, he's gonna be right then, okay, crikey. Aha.
That's awesome. That's so great.
Man.
I know your impersonation of me just has to be coughing. That's all.
If I'm gonna try to impersonate you, it's gotta be more of a gruff-voiced surfer dude.
Yeah, that would probably be better.
Hey dude, how you doing, man?
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah. I just go by what I hear and then try to process it. Like, yeah. But I don't know I don't know what kind of words I should say. Like, hey guys, try to read Fablehaven. It's a real good stuff, man. Totally, bro. Again, I immediately start going into like surfer. If I'm gonna start actually trying, I'll start going into surfer dude mode.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not offended.
Nah.
I sound like fucking Sean Penn in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Mr. Hand.
Oh, yeah.
Spicoli.
Oh Lord, I don't even want to know what I might sound like because, well,
Fingers me home, daddy who can I say do? Yea, bear spear, horn, bear spear, bork, bork, bork.
the joke is that I'm the Swedish baker. Fuck you to everyone who says that.
The Swedish chef. It's the Swedish chef.
Pork,
The bork,
pork,
bork,
pork,
bork.
pork, pork, pork,
Yeah.
pork. Though I prefer, though I think that the hurdy-gurdy is a far more superior way of. Also, it's a pretty cool instrument.
Oh, here we go.
Bork, bork, bork.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
Put the soundboard up.
Oh, you motherfucker. I forgot you got that, and that actually got.
Yeah.
I think that one actually got into the call as well.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this
Oh,
is looking cool.
thank you. Totally, bro. Let's go. Well, again, the best part. We tend to go in a lot of tangents, but that's honestly for me, it's like half the joy of this is just how we derail it into other subjects that are incredibly interesting as well. So,
Or
you know how
even
we-
a mild. I don't know if they're incredibly interesting. I don't know if anything I talk about is
for
incredibly
me,
interesting.
Stop fucking talking that to yourself before I smack you across the fucking stage, alright?
I always love that. Used to say to my buddies, like, "Oh man, I'm so stupid." It's like, don't talk that way about a person I like, you fucking asshole. Listen here, you piece of shit. Don't talk that way about my fucking friends, or I'll kick your fucking ass.
While pointing at your friend. I beat you up because I love you.
I'm so stupid. God damn it! Quit saying that about my friend.
That's a fun way. Moments like that are always entertaining.
Yeah.
Real friends do threaten each other with violence, and will commit it too.
I just love that idea. Don't talk that way
You say
about.
about him?
I'll beat your ass.
Oh man.
Oh.
So yeah, but an example of an interesting conversation though is how when we did Oloch, the statue version.
The first one.
Yeah,
yeah.
we got into a pretty long talk about how free will functions, and that was that stuck. That stuck
Yeah.
for a while. I like that
Yeah, that's true.
because it's
Yeah,
kind of
we spent,
interesting.
like-
Yeah.
So we spent 20 minutes before the recording started talking about getting ready to go into. That's how we theorized the religion of Star Wars.
Yeah.
the theocratic hierarchy of Star Wars worship.
You have the old and trusted, old classic original trilogies. Then you have the new and more updated, kind of cocky with its self-assurance. You know how, oh yeah, we're still pretty good, ha ha ha. But
you got
also
those-
being like, yeah, oh, but we do have issues. We know, ha ha ha. And then you have the new stuff, which I can't even describe properly, other than it's absolute shit.
The lame modern audience Unitarian shit. That's what it is.
Pulp.
The Unitarianism.
Yeah, but it fits so well, though. That description is so
It is.
fucking fitting.
That's hilarious. I always think about it like that, just in terms of Puritanism.
It does. And that's the best part is that even Catholics and Protestants can they just agree on how much the others suck.
They can all agree on how much that guy sucks.
Yeah. I
And that
disagree with you
conversation
theologically.
started because we were talking about Transformers.
Yes, we did. Well, it started with
and Trim being a Puritan.
Yeah,
about
I
the
was
Transformers.
I said I was a Puritan about Star Wars, and then I was corrected because I'm not Catholic, so I can't be a Puritan.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he mentioned Transformers would be more my thing. It's like, okay, fine. I'm a Transformers Catholic. Though, again, if I were to talk with some of my friends, if I were to talk with some of my Transformers nerd friends, they would just pull that one on me too. Because, like, I like the Beast Wars series, and that's apparently heresy to some.
Oh God, I love the Beast Wars series.
Dude, it's fucking metal.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So that's funny. It's kind of like That's like when people say, "Well, I'm socially conservative but fiscally, or socially liberal but fiscally conservative." It's kind of like, well, I'm Star Wars. I'm conservative in Star Wars, but I'm liberal in. You're like, oh, I'm liberal. I'm conservative in Transformers, but I'm liberal in in Star Wars. That's what it is.
Oh, but again, even there's the fan base is divided again within, like, because you have I think the meme goes like truck, not monkey, which is what resulted after Optimus Primal came in Beast Wars.
Truck, not monkey.
Dude, holy shit, dude! If you want one of the best fandom wikis in the world is the Transformers wiki, TF wiki.
Really? Oh,
Well, at least it used to be, because every single panel is written as a joke and with with snark.
That's hilarious.
It is so fucking funny. And
Well, that's a huge universe. Like the Star Wars or the Transformers universe is huge. Like people don't realize how deep that well goes.
Oh yeah, it did the whole multiverse thing before so many others. And each
well, there were
comic
comics
thing,
in the '90s and stuff, and there's
like
a lot to
you had Marvel, you had the Marvel UK had its own run too, and
it.
yeah, it's honestly I see something like Oloch would exist, would definitely be a Transformer, and I imagine that would be either a Predacon or a Decepticon, depending on what series.
Oh, he's a Predacon for sure.
Definitely.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, he could be a Predacon. Maybe not an Insecticon. Not an.
No.
I was got the Insecticons and Predacons mixed up, but no, he's a Predacon.
Yeah.
I used to have a bunch of those guys too. I didn't have the whole thing, like the
neither.
whole big robot, to make Predacane.
Oh, Predacane. Fuck yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
All the
And of
Predacons
course-
came together to make Predacane.
Predaking, not Kane.
I was Kane.
Kane? No, King.
Yeah,
It's
I thought it was
Predaking.
Kane.
Yeah,
Is it Predacane?
yeah, Predaking, not Predacane. Though it would be cool. Would be cool if you called him Predacane too.
I
Like,
thought,
you
I
mean
thought
like
the original
biblical
one was
Cain, right?
Predacane. Yeah.
Nah, it was Predaking. But of course, then you have different words, different accents. And of course, watching series as a kid.
Is that the same one? I'm trying to. I'm sorry. I just googled that shit really quick. Let's see if it's the
That's
same one I'm thinking of. Yeah.
There are many
I thought
forms
it
of Predaking, though. He even became his own character in Transformers Prime, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, that's what I just came up. He's the Predacon leader.
Yep. Let's see. There,
Yeah.
of course, in Transformers Prime, they
Okay.
went like they went different in Transformers Prime because Transformers
You know, it's
Prime
funny.
is a mix of G1 and the Bayformers, and honestly, it's a pretty good one. But what it did was it started. It's the series that stopped the convention of using mechanical terms for body parts, right? So when they say hands, they use servos. When they mean eyes, they use optics, you know?
Yeah.
But in Transformers Prime, they stopped using that. They really just left it behind and stopped using those terms. So they started using hands, eyes, you know?
Uh huh.
And
Man,
it became more
you gotta,
organic in a way.
I gotta apologize because my whole world was just blown away. Because as a kid, I never saw that written down. I never saw Predacane written down. I always thought it was Predacane.
Huh.
I always thought, ever since I was a kid, because I never saw it written down, and I never had enough of the fucking things to make. I never had the main guy that had the instructions, like the body one, and so I never read Predacane, and so my mind's a little fucking blown right now because I just learned something that I thought I knew from a child was wrong. So my mind's a little blown right now. But
This has been a Trim Art Shack special. Oh, yeah.
but yeah, anyhow, so yeah, we have interesting conversations. That's
As you noted, also we managed to, what is happening? We managed to, change Dave's perspective from his childhood. Sorry,
Yeah.
someone was keep fucking trying to call me and I have to turn away the phone, because
Oh,
somebody
snap.
doesn't understand. Anyway. But yeah, we've just shattered Dave's childhood in hopefully not a traumatic way.
No, I just learned something today.
Yep.
It's interesting when you do that. It's like because when you never have seen something written down, and then you hear it, and it's like, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, or when you read a book that hasn't been properly, when you
Yeah,
read a book that has a word in it that you don't quite understand, and suddenly you need to try to hear someone say it, and it's like, wait, that's how you say it?
yeah. You know, it's a weird word like that is segue,
Oh,
because the way it's spelled,
yeah,
segue or whatever.
segue.
If you, it's one of those words that you couldn't intuit what it means until you hear someone say it, and then once you hear someone say it, it's like, oh, okay, I see it now.
Nice segue, bro.
Yeah.
Oh man, you have
But,
words that are just easier. Words like taxi, you say it as they're written. That's the best one.
Yeah. Or like when my little boy's mom and I first got together, we were driving somewhere, and she's like, "Look at all the foliage." And I'm like, "Foliage?
Oh,
Foliage? What the fuck do you mean foliage?" And she's like, "Foliage, you know, like the plants." And I mean, "Oh, you mean foliage?" And she's like, "No, it's foliage." And I was like, "No, it's not spelled foliage or foliage. It's spelled foliage."
was that how it
And then we
ended up not
look it
working out
up.
between you two?
No, well, that was like, you know, that argument was the first argument that made me think, like, man, did I fuck up?
Yeah, because you became really
Did I
convincing,
make a
right?
mistake? Because she got like super upset over it. I'm like, wow, this is not something to get this upset about. But she thought I was like questioning her intelligence. It's like, no, you just said it wrong. It's like, it doesn't make you dumb. It just means you didn't know how to say it right in the first place, and I'm explaining it to you.
Yeah. I think I had a few moments with that in the Sultan's gang in general.
So, yeah.
Oh boy, like nothing really changes that more than when we deal with Bleach's stuff, and he started introducing these ancient myths, like there's a fat fucking creature would had God knows how many ways of writing it.
Oh yeah, no. Those old Indian things, they got like a weird number of
Yep.
spellings and shit. Well, it's because they're taking an entirely different language and just trying to phonetically make it fit.
Yep.
You know, the English alphabet, but it's not meant to do that. So it ends up looking, yeah.
Yeah. Translate unga bunga into civilized.
Pretty much, yeah. Because that's how we end up with a lot of weird name places.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys got some too, relatively, but.
Do you know that we have at least?
They're Norway,
we have at least
so.
20 places in Norway which are either named after genitals or swears.
Well, it's just because you're good-humored people.
Yep. Good-humored, and we're very, very passive.
If I make, I always do that too. If I'm playing Civ or something, and I rename, if I capture enemy cities, I'll rename them to like Dildo Town.
Yep.
And Schittsburg and shit like that. Like, hey, I took your city. You don't have fucking Constantinople anymore. Now you have Schittsburg.
You ain't got Schittsburg.
So, but then I would probably do that to my own cities too, just for shits and giggles, because I'm immature.
Oh yeah.
There's just some things I shouldn't have control over, and I'm fully willing to admit that.
You're fully grown, but you're not an adult. I can, and believe me, I understand that one very well. What? I'm almost in my mid-30s and I'm still going on about fucking video games and cartoons and shit because at least that's entertaining.
Oh man, I'm pushing 50, dude. Like don't
Yeah, exactly. So it means that
don't
you're
get me
actually
started.
you're doing better than most because you already got kids, you already got family. Hell yeah.
Yep.
You won. And you can still fucking be a nerd, and that's something I'm gonna be too. I'm gonna be 60 years old, and I'm still gonna insist that no, Transformers is fucking awesome. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's really true when I look at my again, I'm gonna get all like kind of nostalgic or not nostalgic, but sentimental. Here is it. Yeah, it's true. I really have won in a lot of ways. I've won in won in life in a lot of ways. And my blessings far outweigh the struggles in my life. And I need to keep that in perspective.
Yeah.
You know, so I think most people need to keep that in perspective for sure.
that is
But
true.
yeah,
It's way too easy to focus on the negatives, and of course it is understandable why though, because life is hard at times. Sometimes it just comes running up to you and kicks you so hard in the balls that it's difficult to stay upright afterwards, right?
yeah,
We've all had moments like that. Like it could be everything
No.
from a surprise bill that you really can't afford, that puts every plan you've made so far into jeopardy. Suddenly that vacation isn't possible anymore, and at that moment, that's fucking crushing. Sure, in some ways it doesn't matter as much as anything else. Or then you have the loss of someone you really cared for. It's a little bit of everything. That's again, just
right.
that kind of sad, tragic part of life. But it's also when you manage to find people you can enjoy it with, that is the best part.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that you can have tragedies in your life really just puts a fine point on the fact that you have good things in your life.
Exactly. When
You
you're
know,
depressed,
like-
it means that actually there are moments where it's better. And of course,
Right.
it's not easy to remember at the moment it happens that, oh, hey, you are depressed, but it means that you actually were happier than you were now. And whatever
Well-
what goes up must come down. What goes down must go up.
And the reason that you and I think South Park Butter said it, that when he got his heart broke, he's like, it hurts, but the only reason it hurts this much is because I had it so good,
Yeah.
and so this pain is kind of beautiful in a way. It's
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a beautiful sorrow.
Yeah,
Because-
and here's the thing too, when you miss someone who is departed, it means you really care.
Yeah. And that's come out a lot. Like recently, I think we put one of the in my brother's the program we made for his funeral. There was a poem in there about like the reason we have those like the reason why you're sad is because you treasured him so much,
Yeah.
and you should be grateful that you had that experience to treasure someone. And that's what Butters says. That's what Butters is saying. You
Yeah.
know, it's like it's a beautiful sadness because that sadness is only there because you had such a great joy associated with it.
Yeah.
And so,
Again,
Yeah.
it's like when I lost my closest friend too. Like, sure, I was devastated, and I was much younger too, so it was not as easy to deal with it.
Mm.
But in the end, I managed to deal with it, and nowadays I'm like, yeah, I understand why. It's easier to deal with it because, well, I understand just how much he meant to me. It's easy to put
Yeah.
into perspective.
yeah, and that's not everybody gets that chance. Not everybody has that opportunity to experience that.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody. Like, I know that not everybody has friends as good as I do, and not everybody feels the same feels the same love for their friends that I do, and not because like I'm somehow better than they are, but because they don't experience the friends that I experience. They don't have the same friends that I have.
No.
You know, um, like people that I've known since 4th grade reaching out to me and just to see how I'm doing. Like that. Not everybody has those experiences. And so, yeah,
You
I forgot
gotta
I was
treasure.
going with
You
that.
gotta
But
treasure what you have. You know.
right, yeah. So I got to count myself as fortunate and to be grateful for what I have, and again, realize that I have a lot more blessings than I have otherwise. So
Yeah. But it's also allowed to feel pain too, right?
yeah,
When it hurts, you're allowed to hurt, and if you become a little bit of an asshole at that point, it is understandable. Because, well, real friends will understand that, yeah, he's being a bit rude, but wouldn't you be?
Yep.
All things considered. There's always there as
yeah,
I don't remember who said it, but there's always a tomorrow. That's something a close friend of mine said, that
yeah,
if there's one thing you cannot stop, it is tomorrow.
yep.
So you just
That's
have to
true.
take every day by day as it goes.
Yeah. It's again, it's like the snake meme from the
Yes.
Sultans. Like there is nothing wrong. There is no. It just is how it is.
Yeah.
There's nothing to be cured. There's nothing to be fixed. Like it is how it is, and there's no way to change it.
But
So
it's that one is a bit, of course. I think that meme, while
that's
it's good,
pretty nihilistic.
it's a bit nihilistic, but
Yeah.
it goes positive as well, right?
Well,
Sure,
I think
it is shitty sometimes, but that doesn't stop the fact that you have you have as big a chance to be happy as you have to be miserable. The change
yeah.
is what you do with it.
I
Sure,
think
you may
it's
stumble sometimes, but
I think that is almost more about being stoic
yeah,
about the situation. You know,
yeah.
like
Though
it is what it
you don't
is.
have to be stoic every single day. You can, again,
Yeah.
you need to take time to let pain pass.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just do things for in their memory too. Because now that they're gone, you live for them. They're part of you.
It's totally true.
Yeah, and again, I'm sort of getting back into Christianity, so hopefully you don't mind that it's not me trying to push some shit on you, but
No, no.
I view it that when your time here is over, you'll meet them in a way or another. Sure, you won't meet them in like white. I don't believe that you'll meet them in white, furry dresses or what, furry dresses or whatever. I don't believe that, but you will meet them one way or another in a different form, and it'll be a
Yeah,
nice chat.
yeah. Well, of course, I've had to deal with those, deal with that a lot lately. Struggling with those. Um, wow, that was cool.
Yeah.
A hard mix.
Hard mix.
Was it the hard mix or was it difference? I think it was difference. Yeah, that looks cool. I don't know if that's really color appropriate for the thing,
I
but it
don't
looks
know
cool.
either. Yeah, a difference just reverses it.
Yeah, it just reversed it. Yeah.
Luminosity. Color burn tend to be really intense.
Yeah.
Trying to find. That's normal.
Yeah.
Usually soft and hard light. Vivid. Oh, vivid light tends to be nice, and linear too. Now, what if I do? Wait, that's the over one. Ooh.
All right.
Okay, that was period metal.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let's keep that one at 75. 5. So that looks cool to me at least. Or what about you? You see the screen differently than I do.
Yeah. No, I think that looks cool.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've got a, yeah, no, that looks good.
Ooh, okay, that one gives it a bit more of a glow.
That's cool. It has like kind of an Eye of Sauron look to it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going for. This is a demonic creation.
Yeah.
Let's go with this one.
Yeah, that's
And
good, dude.
let's mess around with the brightness a bit. There we go. So I'm thinking 70 or 60.
Nah, go up. Yeah, 670 looks good. 70.
Nice.
69, there you go. Leave it at 69. That's nice. There you go.
Let's see. I'm gonna start messing around with a quick background because we
Yeah.
are on 1 hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully to avoid.
I got about 5 minutes.
Yes.
Actually, I have like 2 minutes. or 3 minutes before I gotta get going.
Yeah. Again,
So-
we do get a little bit lost in the conversation.
Yeah, I know. We get chatting.
Yep.
But this was a really, like, I think with the tongues and everything, it was a really in-depth, like, it took a lot of shading
Oh yeah.
to get the tongues going.
I got a bit carried away, so you know. But
Yeah.
we will work it out. Fortunately, though, this thing can be. I can give it just a very simple background.
Yeah. Jazz's brush.
Yeah, Jazz's
Looks
brush.
good.
It's Jazz's brush construction pencil. It
Yep.
is one that I'm very fond of because to me, it's all about the feel. And this one, I'm barely applying any pressure here, right? Even on max opacity. Now I'm putting a lot of pressure, right? So I can just do this. It is.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and the way it
It's
just
dependent on
blends.
your touch.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Highly pixelated as well, so
Yeah.
it is just so fucking flexible, which is why I like working with it. And again, simply sketchy, so it's not really a full work kind of thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I don't know quite what this is, but it could sort of be like a hallway or a glade or somewhere where the light just shines a bit through from the top.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of a cave or something.
Yep. Caves are easy. Just make some curves.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
I mean, when Seth was eaten, was that in the cave?
No, he was out in the field. It was out in the Remnant's Grove.
Oh, right.
So they were out in the woods.
Yeah.
So
Let's see, and I think I'll call it there. Actually, what do you think?
that was good, dude.
Bit of rush job. Kinda don't know if I should make him a bit darker. Yeah, okay. I think actually that looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, it looks good on my side.
That's the
So-
whole thing. Is what I realized is that your side, mine tends to be darker than or more intense color-wise than what you guys see.
Right.
But so far, I like how this looks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess in order to avoid you losing all your time, I'm just gonna wrap it up here. So Total Black Painting, thank you for joining. Please tell me where we can find you.
You can find me at my YouTube channel, Total Blackout Painting. You can catch me on the Sultans on Saturday, or you can catch me being an asshole on Twitter at Reverend Dave, REVERAND and yeah.
Yeah,
That's me.
it's always there for a hoot. Though
Yep.
if you can handle a joke, it's gonna be entertaining. Though if you can't handle a joke, oh, it's gonna be fun for the rest of us.
Yep, for sure.
Oh yeah. And also, I would like to extend a thank you to my good friend Robert Renato for letting me use his music. And yeah, I tend to go on a spree about how Robert's personality and his work have this very, very
Yeah.
distinct feel. Like, dude makes a lot of dark and sort of deep, sometimes depressive, but I would say more emotional and deep songs, right? Music.
Yeah, you make some great stuff.
Yeah,
for
while
sure.
the dude himself is the most cute obsessed guy you can ever meet. Like, go on his Twitter and you'll see him just wiggle around with his Fubos. He's just
That's funny.
obsessed. If it's cute, he's down. He doesn't care. He's like, is it cute? Yes. Okay. Then he's happy.
All right.
And of
And
course,
shout out to Bezic for editing.
oh yeah, he's got his hands full all the time with the swears, with the spicy comments, and for making tangents not sound completely out of place. It is a job that he does very well. Thank you, dude.
All right.
And of course, for the people watching
And,
this, if you like what you see, you can find everything here on my merch store. You can get it as a t-shirt, coffee cup, basically whatever. And if you have any things you would like it on, just give me a hit and I'll see what I can do. If you would like to hire me, you can find me on Twitter at TrimsArtCheck, or you can just DM me on Discord if you have me there, or just go down to my links down below because you'll be able to contact me through there as well. And of course, a last thank you to everyone who's been watching this video up until now, or even the ones who dropped out earlier too. I don't blame you. Thank you all for watching. If you feel so inclined, leave a like, a comment, or maybe subscribe if so. Other than that, thank you all for joining. Thank you, Dave, and have a good day.
My pleasure. Shadowlay folks.
Bye-bye.